Yeah!
Okay, sync test. 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you've made it this far, then you've already done everything else. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You are ready. This is your final opportunity to crush it before your test. So on this practice test video, and if you have skipped the other 3-4 videos, do not. Go back, work those out, because you need to have those worked through in order to handle this, okay? In this video, we're gonna work a little bit of everything else we've worked through. This is your final hoorah. This is the battle. And if you can do this, then your test, well, your test is a piece of cake. So, before we begin, let's do the classic, our forever habit of drawing our smiley face on the top of the paper. And yes, I recommend you do this on test day 2, okay, thank you. All right, I remember even in my AP classes, right, in high school, that now I didn't always draw smiley faces, but I would often do, is like when I wrote my name at the top of the test, I would put like a small number right next to my name to try to figure like, how like hardcore it was gonna be, and the higher the number, like the more I was gonna pound it in the face. So you can think of test as like an opponent. You're getting in the ring and you're gonna like punch it in the nose. That's okay, like go for it. But this practice test is your opportunity to get ready for it. So let's get it. Now, we're gonna begin. Remember, this whole thing is on one-step equations. So I'm gonna make these up as we go. We're gonna work through them together. And then at the tail end, I'm gonna give you some other ones to work on your own. Now, what I want you to do for this video is after I write down a problem, pause me. Do not watch this video through. It is crucial that as I work the problems, you pause it and try it on your own. Then watch me and see if what you did and what I did line up. And if they don't, rewind it or try it on the next problem. But whatever you do, do not sit there and just watch this video. Instead, work the problems as you go through this video. Pause it, work it, pause it, work it, pause it, work it, pause it, work it, over and over and over. Because all being good at math is sheer practice. That's it. Practice the rules and you will know the rules. And once you know the rules, you have mastered it. Okay, let's begin. So, let's pick our color for the day. I was gonna do turquoise, hardcore test color. You would think red would be it, but you know, whatever. All right, and let's begin. So we're gonna start with something simple. We're gonna go x plus 5 equals 3. Very simple, okay? Take a moment to pause. And here's your answer. So I'm gonna subtract 5 from both sides. Remember to bring down the equal sign, because in math, what you do to one side, you must do to the other, and the equal sign is how you divide it out. So I'm gonna bring down my equal sign. Remember, 5 minus 5 is 0, so those cancel out. I'm gonna bring down my x, and 3 minus 5 is -2. Let's move, oh God. Let's move this down just to make it a little more neat. Circle our answer. On your tests, I challenge you to circle your answers. It's just a really good habit. That way you know what your answer is and your teacher know what your answer is, and if you need to look through your work, you're not confused like what's what. So circle your answers at the tail end, okay? All right, very good. All right, number 2. Let's do 2x plus 4 equals 10. Take a moment and pause. Okay, so now your answer for this one, let's start simple. Let's take the simple parts out. So subtract 4 from both sides. Bring down your bar. Equal sign. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down the 2x. We didn't do anything with it yet. 10 minus 4 is 6. Now we're ready to do the opposite of multiplying 2, because you notice I've got 2 times x. So I want to divide that 2 out so we're left with 1. Because remember, the goal is to get just x by itself. So, going to, oh Lord, sorry, erased an x. There you go. All right, going to divide both sides by 2, okay? Bring down your bar. 1x, bring down your equal sign. 6 divided by 2, 3. Remember, you can leave it here if you want. This answer is technically correct. It's not good form though. If you want to be super clean, and you remember this from all the videos before, then let's go ahead and just leave it as x equals 3, because 1x equals 3 and x equals 3 are the same thing, and you are done, my friend. Really good. Okay, number 3. Let's do x minus 4 equals 10. Okay? Pause. All right. The opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So let's add 4 here. Let's add 4 here. Bring down your bar. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down the x. Bring down the equal sign. X equals 10 plus 4 is 14. You got it. Wonderful. We are done. Remember, when you have x equals something, you're finished. Like, there's nothing else to work, because we know what x equals. It's the whole point. Okay? All right, number 4. Let's do x divided by 10 equals 2. Okay? Pause. Okay? Now, the opposite of dividing by 10, because remember, I'm looking at what is in my x's way and how can I get that thing out the way. So the opposite of dividing by 10 is multiplying by 10. So I'm going to multiply this side by 10. And remember the rule, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So multiply your other side by 10. Bring your bar. Remember that 10 divided by 10 is 1, and then we multiply that 1 times the top. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. 1 times x is x. Okay? Got that? Remember, we kind of talked about this before, where we take those, we divide them, and then we multiply them by the top. So 1 times x equals, bring down your equal sign, 2 times 10, which is 20. 1x equals 20. Or x equals 20. However you like to write it. Remember, over here is cleaner. X equals 20. There you go. Piece of cake. All right. Let's go down to our next one, number 5. And let's do x divided by 5 plus 3 equals 10. Okay? All right. Let's start with the simple stuff first. Simple stuff first. Okay? Let's subtract 3 from both, or sorry. I was supposed to pause. I really was supposed to tell you that pause the video and then try to work it out. And you probably already figured out the first step because I just gave it away without trying to. Pause here. All right, here comes your answer. So you're going to subtract 3 from both sides, right? Remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. And we're just going to start simple. 3 minus 3 is 0. Scratch that out. Bring down your equal sign. All right. Bring down your x divided by 5 because we haven't done anything with it yet. 10 minus 3 is 7. Very good. And now, and let's just clean this up a little bit. Now, we're in a place that's much easier to work. The opposite of dividing by 5, which is what we're looking at right here, and the reason we're picking this is because we're trying to get x alone. So the opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So we're going to multiply this by 5. Multiply this by 5. 5 divided by 5 will get you 1. And remember, we're going to multiply that 1 times the top. So 1 times x, okay, which is 1x, equals, and at this point you probably see, once you see 1x, you know the answer's coming up. Okay? 1x equals 7 times 5, which is 35. Okay? Piece of cake. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, baby. Alright, number 6. We're going to do 2x divided by 5 equals 10. Okay? Same rules. We've got some stuff going on with x, right? We've got it's being divided by 5 and it's being multiplied by 2. Let's start with getting that dividing out of the picture, okay? Simplest way to do it. So I'm going to multiply this side by 5 to cancel out the 5 down there, right? And I'll multiply this side by 5, okay? Bring down your bar. 5 divided by 5 gives us 1, and 1 times 2x equals 2x, okay? Remember, we got that by dividing 5 by 5, which is 1, and then multiplying 1 times 2x, okay? Whereas up here before, we divided 5 by 5, got 1, and multiplied 1 times x, which gave us 1x. That's how you do these division ones, okay? So 2x, bring down your equal sign. 10 times 5 is 50. Great. Not done yet because we still have a giant 2 on our x. So we got to get that thing off, okay? The opposite of dividing by 2, or sorry, the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2, okay? So let's divide this side by 2, this side by 2. And you're going to be left with 1x, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down your x, bring down your equal sign, and 50 divided by 2 is 25. Ta-da! You got 1x equals 25, or if you want to keep it super clean, x equals 25. For those of you who like to be super clean. Okay, number 7. Let's do x plus 10 equals 20. And compared to what we've been doing, this should feel really easy, okay? All right, we got a giant plus 10 in the way, and hopefully you guys are pausing after I'm writing the problems, because I keep forgetting to tell you to pause. So I'm just gonna tell you to pause now, pause. Okay, and hopefully you're ready for the answer, because I'm going on. All right, so opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. And what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So subtract 10 here, bar underneath. Then 10 minus 10 is 0, so we're gonna cancel those out. Bring down your x, bring down your equal sign. 20 minus 10 is 10. And ta-da, you got it. X equals 10. Fantastic job. On to the next. Number 8. 2x plus 1 equals 9. Okay? Two things are happening to our x right here. We've got a 2 on the x and we got a plus 1. That's fine, whatever, no problem. Let's start with the simple stuff first. The opposite of adding 1 is subtracting 1. So let's subtract 1 from both sides, because what you do to one side, you must do to the other. 1 minus 1 is going to cancel out to 0. Bring down the 2x. Bring down the equal sign. 9 minus 1 is 8. Now we're ready to get this 2x, get this 2 off of our x. The opposite of multiplying 2 is dividing by 2. So we're going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Put our bar. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down the x. Bring down your equal sign. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Ta-da, you got it. 1x equals 4, or if you want to be super clean, x equals 4. Piece of cake, my friends. Piece of cake. Okay? All right, number 9. Let's do, hey, Miss Turner. X divided by 4 plus 10 equals 5. Okay? Same process. Let's do the simple stuff first. Simple stuff first, okay? So I see a giant plus 10. Opposite, first of all, pause. I'm trying to remember, do this pause. Opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. Gonna subtract 10 here too. Put down your bar. 10 minus 10 is 0. Cancel out. Bring down your x divided by 4. Haven't done anything with it yet. Bring down your equal sign. 5 minus 10. And if you're not comfortable with negative numbers yet, let me know in the comments. I just have to make a video on negative number because you gotta know these for this. 5 minus 10 is negative 5. Okay? Now we can actually work with this, okay? We've gotten that plus 10 out the way. Now we can work with this. This is a nice clean problem we can fiddle through. So the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So let's do that. And remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. These are the laws of math. If you obey them, they will take care of you. If you disobey them, then you end up with something that you don't like. So do it. So multiply your left side by 4, right side by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. 1 times x is 1x. So bar 1x equals negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. And ta-da, you are done. If you want to be super clean, remember, if you like just being squeaky clean, come on with it. X equals negative 20 is the cleaner form to do this. But if 1x makes more sense to you, please by all means do it for now. Just remember, by 9th grade, you got to clean that up because that ain't gonna work too much longer. Okay, all right, number 10. Let's do Ooh, let's mix it up. Let's throw some negatives in here. Let's go negative x plus 4 equals 10, okay? Piece of cake, same rules. However, remember we said before that our x needs to be alone. I never said negative x needs to be alone. So we're not gonna leave our answer as negative x equals something. We gotta get that negative sign off too. I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. Now, there's two ways to approach this. Here's what I recommend. It'll keep it easier for you. Let's get rid of the plus 4 first, and then we'll deal with the negative sign last, okay? So let's subtract 4 from both sides. Hopefully you already paused it. 4's cancel out, leaving you with negative x. Bring down your equal sign, equals 10 minus 4 is 6. We're not done yet. Remember, we never said negative x equals something. We only said x equals something. So we gotta get that negative sign off of there. So, fine, how do you get rid of a negative sign? And I'll give you a clue, it ain't by just dropping it off. This ain't Call of Duty. We ain't just gonna just kill things and just leave them behind. No, we gotta get rid of this negative sign somehow. So fine, what you do is you multiply both sides by -1, okay? Remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. But if you multiply negative x times -1 and multiply the right side by -1, watch what happens. Negative x times -1, a negative and a negative make a positive. So, what you've essentially done is tricked this x into turning positive by multiplying it by negative. Now the catch is, you must make the other side multiply by -1 too. So 6 times -1 is -6. And now you've got your completed answer. X equals -6, okay? We're gonna work a few more of those just to make sure that's nice and clear. If it wasn't, just rewind it and go through it kind of slower. And I'll go through this next one a little bit slower too, just in case. All right, number 11. Let's do negative x minus 10 equals 15, okay? All right, first things first, don't deal with the negative x first. You can technically, but if you want to keep it simplest for now, leave the negative x alone for now. Now, if you just like a challenge, you can deal with the negative x first, but I don't recommend you mess with that unless you're really comfortable with this right now, okay? So fine, the opposite of dealing with minus 10 is adding 10. So let's add 10 to both sides. Okay, bring down your bar. 10 minus 10, 0. Bring down your equal sign. 15 plus 10 is 25. And then bring down your negative x because we haven't dealt with it yet. Now we're going to deal with it. The opposite, remember, to trick this negative x into turning positive, we want to multiply it by -1, okay? So if you multiply this by -1, and you multiply this by -1, then you end up with negative x times -1, and a negative times a negative is positive. So you get positive x, which is exactly what we want, equals 25 times -1, which is -25. And you got it, okay? Hopefully that made sense. It certainly does make sense, but hopefully it made sense to you. And if you need some extra practice, let me know if you need some extra practice with these negative numbers. But it's as long as you remember the rules, negative times negative equals positive, positive times negative equals negative, positive times positive equals positive, then you're fine, okay? And basically you can remember it like this. Anything that's the same gives you something positive, and anything that's a mixed match gives you negative. So positive, positive equals positive, negative, negative equals negative. Or sorry, negative, negative equals positive, positive, negative equals negative. And if that was confusing, we'll do a separate video, all right? Let's move on to number 12. All right, so number 12, let's do 2x plus 6 equals 36, okay? So we got two things on our x right now, right? We got the 2x on there and we got a plus 6. So we're gonna deal with both of those before we move on. Start simple, start simple. Go ahead and subtract your 6 from that plus 6. So if the opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6. We're gonna go ahead and subtract 6 here. These cancel out. 36 minus 6 equals 30. Bring down your 2x because we haven't dealt with it yet. Now we've got 2 times x equals 30. Piece of cake. Opposite of multiplying 2 is dividing 2. So let's divide both sides by 2. Let me get my proper color out here. Divide both, oh, ignore that. Okay, divide both sides by 2. All right, bring down your bar. And what you got left is 1x, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down your x, equals, bring down your equal sign, 30 divided by 2, which is 15. And remember, if you want to be super clean, 1x is the same thing as x, so it's x equals 15. Either of these answers are fine. 1x or x are the same thing, okay? Moving on to number 13. Once we get to number 15, we're going to take a stretch break. So keep pushing, okay? You've only got 2 more to go. Number 13. 2x divided by 5 plus 10 equals 2. Okay? Keep it simple. Don't have to see the answer yet. Let's start with what's easiest, which is this plus 10 over here. Okay? This right here. Let's handle that first. Okay? So find plus 10. Subtract your 10, because that's the opposite of adding 10. Both sides, because remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So let's bring down the equal sign. 10 minus 10 is 0, so they cancel out. 2 minus 10, hopefully you're comfortable with negative numbers, is negative 8. Bring down the 2x divided by 5, because we haven't dealt with it yet. Okay? And what you end up with, after we clean it up a little bit here, is 2x divided by 5 equals negative 8. Now, what's the opposite of dividing 5? Take it step by step. When you're working these, one piece at a time. Opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So let's multiply by 5. 5 divided by 5 is going to yield you 1. And remember, you take that 1 and multiply it by the top. So 1 times 2x is 2x. Bring down your equal sign. And then negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. Let's put our bar here just so it's a little easier to see, okay? Now you're ready for the final step. The opposite of multiplying 2 is sort of obvious, right? It's dividing it by 2. So fine. Divide both sides by 2, okay? Bring down your bar. The 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down your x, so 1x. Bring down your equal sign. And negative 40 divided by 2 is negative 20. Ta-da! Circle it up and you are all finished. And remember, if you want to be super clean out here, because we don't want to be dirty, we're trying to be clean. So 1x is the same thing as x, so you can do x equals negative 20, or you can do 1x equals negative 20. Both are the same. I'm happy with both. Check with your teacher, but clean it up before 9th grade, because it ain't gonna work forever, okay?
Period!
There. And now, for our final practice problem, and then we're gonna take a breather break because classes are letting out and my voice box is starting to hurt. So we're gonna do one more practice problem. Let's do 5x plus 4 equals. Oh wait, I gotta come up with something that actually works. Hang on. 29. All right, there you go. Okay, take your time. Start with simplest. Okay. Let's do the pluses first, and then we'll deal with the multiplication. So fine, the opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4. We're going to do that to both sides. Cancels out on that side. Bring down your equal sign. Okay, 29 minus 4 is 25. Perfect. So then you go to your 25. Bring down the 5x because we haven't dealt with it yet. Opposite of opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. So take away 5 from both sides on your division. Bring down the equal sign. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Bring down your x. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Ta-da! You are done. Now remember, if you want to be super clean, don't leave it at 1x equals 5. That's sloppy. We ain't sloppy out here. We clean. So you can rewrite that as x equals 5. Circle your answer because it's a good habit. It's loud AF out here. So we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to do another half of those practice problems. And by the time you finish this video, you will slay the test. I want to see some clean aces out here. See you on part 2. Alright guys, if you're watching this, you have made it so far. Really great work. Math is about the practice. And you're putting in the work. And I promise you, if you practice and be nice to yourself, don't beat up, be nice to yourself. When you get it wrong, it's okay. Just work on another one. Have you ever seen a mom yell at a baby for not walking the first go? It doesn't happen. We tell the babies to do what? Get up and try again. And it's the same thing for math. This is all the same stuff. So be kind to yourself while you're learning. You're doing great. And that's what these practice problems are here for. So let's begin with part 2. We're gonna work another 16 problems. That will make a total of 30. After which I'm gonna give you 20 more to work on your own, along with the answers. After working all 50 of those, you will be more than ready for any exam they could throw your way, okay? So let's begin part 2, one-step equations. Let's go. All right, number 15. Number 15, we're gonna do x divided by 5 plus 10 equals 20. Don't be fooled by this looking a little taller than usual. It's the same stuff. This is just x being divided by 5. And what we're gonna do is the same thing we've been doing. The opposites and isolating the x on its own. So let's get started. First, start simple. IC plus 10, the opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. So let's start there. So we're gonna subtract 10 here. Subtract 10 here. Bring down your bar. 10 minus 10 is 0. Those cancel out. Bring down your equal sign first and foremost. That way you can see both sides of the equation. 20 minus 10 is 10. And then bring down the x minus, or sorry, not x minus, x divided by 5 because we haven't done anything with it yet. It's still there. It still needs to be worked on. So fine. The opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So let's take our 5, multiply it here. Multiply it here. And when you have 5 divided by 5, you get 1. And you multiply the 1 times the top. So 1 times x is 1x. 1x equals, bring down your equal sign, and then 10 times 5 is 50. Perfect. All right, that is it. Remember, 1x equals 50 is fine. It's a valid answer, but it's not really clean, and we want our answers clean. So go ahead and rewrite it as x equals 50. Again, if it makes more sense to you to leave it like this, I'm fine with that. But remember, it's not gonna work forever, so go ahead and try to clean it up. So fine, x equals 50 or 1x equals 50, and you're done with number 15. Let's move on. Okay, so we're back one more again. We're moving on to number 16, okay? So we're gonna do this one. We're gonna take negative, oh Lord, that's an eraser. All right, we're gonna take negative 12y and set it equal to 60, okay? Really easy. And remember, we're just changing letters, but the letter doesn't matter. Not for now, at least. Later on, you'll discover sometimes I do, but not for today. So, okay, fine. We've got negative 12 that's attached to our y. We need to get rid of that. The opposite of being multiplied, or sorry, the opposite of negative 12 being multiplied is dividing by negative 12. So let's do that. So I'm gonna divide, we're gonna divide this side by negative 12, divide this side by negative 12. Bring down your bar, negative 12 divided by negative 12. Remember, a negative, negative make positive, so we got positive 1. Bring down your y, 1y, equals 60 divided by negative 12 is negative 5. Very good, okay? And then, of course, if you want to leave it in good form, y equals negative 5 as well. Because remember, you can leave it as 1y equals negative 5, but not good form. We want to leave it as just a letter because 1 times anything is anything, okay? All right, very good. Number 17. Oh, wrong color. Number 17. Let's do 7m equals negative 28. This one again is simple too. This is a nice one step. So we don't have anything, we don't have a whole lot to do with this one. You see the 7 times your m, so you already know what to do. If you haven't paused, go ahead and pause. Okay, great. And let's begin. The opposite of multiplying by 7 is dividing by 7. So we'll divide this side by 7, divide this side by 7. Bring down your bar, bring down your equal sign. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Bring down your m, 1m. Negative 28 divided by 7 is negative 4. That's it. 1m equals negative 4, or if you want to be clean, m equals negative 4. And my friends, you are on a freaking roll. Let's move on to number 18. Number 18, we're going to do 2x minus 4 equals negative 10. Okay? step. Let's start with what's simplest, okay? Let's go ahead and do the opposite of subtracting 4, which is adding 4. So we're going to add 4 here, add 4 here. Bring down the bar. 4 minus 4 cancels out to 0. Bring down your 2x. Bring down your equal sign. Negative 10 plus 4 is, that's right, negative 6. Perfect. Now we're in a nice setup where we've got something equals something. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 2? Dividing by 2. Spot on, right? So let's divide by 2 here. Divide by 2 here. Put down your bar. Equal sign. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down the x. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And my friends, if you want to be super clean, x equals negative 3, and you are finished. Wait, sorry, I wrote through the answer. Yeah. Okay, number 19. All right, number 19. We're going to do, let's mix it up. Let's put in a different letter. A divided by 6 minus 5 equals 10. Don't be intimidated by this thing. It's the same rules. It's the same laws. I don't care how confusing they make it look. It's the same rules. It's the same laws. If you obey them, math will take care of you. If you disobey them, math will punch you in the throat. So make sure you obey them, okay? All right, so let's start simple. We're not going to mess with multiplication or division yet. We're going to go straight simple first. So the opposite of adding 5 is, or sorry, the opposite of subtracting 5 is adding 5. Correct. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. Bring down the bar, equal sign. Equal sign here. 5 minus 5 yields 0. 10 plus 5, take your time. Great, 15. Now, bring down the a divided by 6. We haven't done anything with it yet, so we're not going to just drop it off face of the map. This is not Among Us. We don't just throw things we want out of the ship because they're sus. It does not work that way here, okay? A divided by 6 equals 15 is what we're going to work with next. Bring it on down. The opposite of being divided by 6 is multiplying by 6. So we're going to multiply your left side by 6, multiply your right side by 6. 6 divided by 6 yields 1. And then your 1 times a is going to leave you with 1a. Bring down the equal sign. 1a equals, and then 15 times 6, you might need a calculator for that, 90. Or you can be super clean and simply do a equals 90. And my friends, you have just completed yet another one. You are killing it. Very good. Number 20. Let's do, and I'm gonna actually use the book for this because my brain's like developing all these problems, or developing problems to work, and I'm just like, ah. All right, let's do, actually I'm not gonna use the book. Those are all lame and too easy. All right, x divided by 10 plus 10 equals 10, okay? Oh, let's not do that. That's actually a problem. 100, okay? All right, so, fine. Let's start simple. I see a plus 10, so let's just do the opposite of that. So the opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. So I'm going to subtract 10 from that side, subtract 10 from this side. Put down your bar. Bring down the equal sign. 10 minus 10 cancels out to make 0. Bring down the x divided by 10 because we haven't done anything with it yet. 100 minus 10 yields 90. Bring this down just to make it a little cleaner. X divided by 10 equals 90 is where we're at. The opposite of dividing by 10 is multiplying by 10. And we're going to do that on both sides because what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So 10 divided by 10 yields 1. And then 1 times x is 1x. Bring down the equal sign. 10 times 90 is 900. Or, if you want to be super clean, x equals 900. And my friends, you are complete. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Number 21. 3x plus 30 equals 60. All right, let's do this. Start simple. Let's subtract out everywhere that's added. So the opposite of adding 30 is subtracting 30. We're going to subtract 30 from both sides. Bring down your bar. Bring down the equal sign. 30 minus 30 cancels out. Bring down the 3x. And 60 minus 30 is 30. Now we've got a 3x. We need to deal with that. The opposite of 3 times x is dividing by 3. So we're going to divide by 3 both sides. That way we get the x by itself, which is the whole point of all of this. 3x divided by 3 yields 1. Bring down the x, 1x equals 30 divided by 3, 10. 1x equals 10, or if you want to be super clean, x equals 10. And my friends, yet again, we are victorious. Now, number 22. Let's mix it up here a little bit. Let's say we've got negative 2x plus 5 equals negative 10. That's actually going to be really ugly. Let's not. Let's say negative 2x plus 5 equals negative, one person may recognize that. Negative 15. Okay, now, the opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5. So we're going to start there. Subtract 5 from both sides. Bring down the bar. Equal sign brought down. 5 minus 5 yields 0. Bring down the negative 2x. Negative 15 minus 5, negative 20. And now we're in a spot where we can actually solve for x. Remember, we're not solving for negative x. You have a fly in your eye. Get out of there. Okay. Negative 2x equals negative 20. Okay. So fine. We got to get rid of the negative 2 off of the x. So I'm actually going to do it all in one step and simply divide both by negative 2. And I'm doing that so that I can get the negative and the 2 off of x in one swing. Okay. So negative 2x divided by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is positive 1. Bring down the x, 1x. Bring down the equal sign. Negative 20 divided by negative 2 is 10. Or, if you want to be super clean, x equals 10. And my friends, you have done it yet again. Number 23. Let's do 4x divided by 5 plus 3 equals negative 2. Okay, let's do it. Take it one step at a time. One step at a time. What is the simplest move we can do right now? Get rid of this plus 3. So the opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. Bring down the bar, equal sign, brought down. Negative 3 and 3 cancel out. Negative 2 minus 3, negative 5. Bring down the 4x divided by 5 because we haven't done anything with it yet. Clean it up just a little bit. Okay, now what is the opposite of multiplying 5? Or sorry, of dividing 5, because that's the next big step over here, right? So the opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. Do it on both sides. 5 divided by 5 is going to yield 1. Sorry, I need to do it in a different color so you can see. 5 divided by 5 yields 1. And 1 times 4x equals 4x. Bring down the equal sign. Put a bar here so you can see what's going on. Bring down the equal sign. Negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. Now we've got something we can work with. The opposite of multiplying 4 times x is dividing by 4. So divide 4x by 4. Divide 25 by 4. That's not going to work. And you get x. Here we go. You get 1x equals negative 25 divided by 4. Now some of you may say, wait, but Mike, can that be right? What else am I supposed to do with that? Nothing. And here's why, for now. For now, you do nothing with it. You can't divide 25 by 4, not evenly. Now, you can do it if you're doing decimals, and you can do it if you're doing improper fractions. But we're not talking about those in this lesson, so don't worry about it. If you get an answer like this, if you ever get an answer that doesn't divide out, you can leave it just like that, okay? We'll talk about simplifying another time. We'll talk about all that other stuff another time. But for now, you can leave this answer just the way it is. And if you got this, and if you followed it, fantastic. I know this answer looks weird, but you followed all the rules, so you can rest assured it's right. Okay, here we go. Number 24. Let's change up the color here. Go a little bit of green. All right, number 24, let's go. Negative 9d equals 54. Now compared to what we've been doing, this is a slam dunk. Like y'all should be looking at this and being like, oh my God, yes sir, something easy, thank God. All right, so fine, negative 9d equals 54. We got to get this negative 9 off of it, so let's do that. The opposite of multiplying by 9 is dividing by 9. So divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9. Set up your bar, bring down the equal sign. Equal goes here. Negative 9 divided by 9 is 1. Bring down the d. 1d equals 54 divided by negative 9 is negative 6. And so now we have 1d equals negative 6. Or you can rewrite this as d equals negative 6. And my friends, you have done it yet again. Piece of cake. Now, number 25. 5 more to go. Take a breath, take a sip. I kind of want to take a sip of my coffee, but I left it in there, so I can't do that. But you can take a sip, go ahead and pause. Okay, hopefully you got it. Okay, here we go. 4c plus 10 equals 30. Okay, let's start simple. The opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. So let's do that. Let's subtract 10 from both sides. Set up your bar, bring down the equal sign. 10 minus 10 is 0. Bring down the 4c, haven't done anything with it yet. 30 minus 10 is 20. Now we got 4c equals 20. Now the opposite of multiplying 4, so that we can get c alone, is dividing by 4. So let's divide both sides by 4. 4c divided by 4, 1c. Set up your bar, bring down the equal sign. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Or c equals 5. And my friends, you already know the answer. You have done it yet again. Number 26. Let's go with I'm going to refer to the book here, all right. G divided by 10. Yeah, we'll keep it simple. Equals, no, we won't keep it simple. We like the challenge. Okay, G divided by 10 plus 18 equals negative 9. Same stuff. Let's start with the simple step, okay? The opposite of adding 18 is subtracting 18, okay? Gonna subtract 18 from both sides, set up the bar, bring down the equal sign. 18 minus 18, cancel out. Negative 9 minus 18, negative 27. G divided by 10 equals negative 27, okay, because we just brought that down. Now, let's move on to, and I realize my G might look like a 9, but get over it, okay? It actually looks sort of like a Thanos chin. Look at this. Little Thanos-y there, a little bit, I don't know. Okay, all right, here we go. So G divided by 10 equals negative 27. Bring this down, clean it up just a little bit. The opposite of the opposite of dividing by 10 is multiplying by 10, right? So fine, multiply your left by 10, and what you do to the left, you must do to the other side. Multiply by 10. Remember that your 10 divided by 10 is going to yield you a nice, fine 1. And then you take that 1 and you multiply it by G. So you get 1G here at the top. Here, set up your bar. 1G equals, and then negative 27 times 10, which is this really absurd number, negative 270. Okay? Or, if you want to be super clean, G equals negative 270. My friends, that is it. You have done good. Number 27. We are almost there. Keep pushing. Number 27. 5x minus 10 equals 55. Now compared to what we've been doing, this is a slam dunk, okay? Remember, start simple, start simple. So you've got a minus 10. What's the opposite of subtracting 10? Of course, that's gonna be to add 10. So you add 10 here, add 10 here, set up your bar. 10 minus 10 is 0. Cancels out, bring down the equal sign. 55 plus 10 is 65, very good. Bring down the 5x, haven't done anything with that yet. And now you got 5x equals 65. Now that you're at this point, we've got to do the opposite of multiplying 5. So you're going to divide by 5, both sides, because what you do to one side, you must do to the other. Bring down the equal sign. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Bring down the x, 1x equals, and 65 divided by 5 is 13. That's it. Or if you want to be super clean, x equals 13. Because remember, 1x and x are the same thing. You want to be clean, leave it as x. But if 1x makes more sense to you, I am fine with that for now. Do what makes most sense, and then you can always go over to the x part. Just do it for 9th grade, because you're going to be in trouble if you don't. All right, number 28. Let's do 4a minus 3 equals brain, you can do this. 21. I had to put together something that was actually going to work out even, okay? All right, so fine. 4a minus 3 equals 21, okay? Start simple. It doesn't have to be complex. Start simple. So, your minus 3. The opposite of subtracting 3 is adding 3. So let's add 3 to this side, add 3 to this side. Set up your bar. Bring down the equal sign. 3 minus 3, 0, cancels out. Bring down your 4a. 21 plus 3 is 24. Perfect. Now, clean this up just a little bit. You've got 4a equals 24. At this point, you can take a look at what's being done to your a and look at ways to make that a isolated. How do we get that a alone? So the opposite of multiplying 4 is dividing by 4. 4 divided by 4 and 24 divided by 4. Set up your bar. 4a divided by 4 is 1a. Bring down the equal sign, and 24 divided by 4 is 6. Or, if you want to be super clean, a equals 6. My friends, you have done it yet again. Yes, sir. Now, you know what I just realized at this point in the video is we never set up our smiley face. So let's just take 10 seconds over here to the right side of your paper and set up your smiley face. Because at the start of each round, we will do that. This one doesn't look as cheerful as the last. Actually, it looks just as cheerful. It just looks a little cheesy. Looks like a cookie. All right, number 29. We are almost there. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Number 29. You have got 5c minus 4 equals 31. Okay? All right. So, remember, start simple with your subtraction and addition. So, the opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. And what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So plus 4, bring down the bar, arrow down, equal sign, minus 4 and 4, cancel out to make 0, bring down your 5c, haven't done anything with it yet. 31 plus 4 is 35, that's right. 5c equals 35 is what we're working with now. Still need to get c on its own. So the opposite of multiplying 5 is dividing by 5. Divide this by 5, divide this by 5. Sorry, wrong color. 5 divided by 5, bring down the bar, bring down the equal sign. 5 divided by 5 is going to yield 1. 1c equals, and then 35 divided by 5, which is 7. Perfect. Or, if you want to be super clean, c equals 7. Remember, whichever one, as long as it makes sense to you, will work for now. Be super clean, though, if you can, okay? And number 30, our final practice problem on this practice test. Let's make it thorough. Let's do 4a divided by 3 plus 10 equals 17. Pause here and give it a shot. You've come a long way, and I know you can do this. Remember, start simple. Okay, and hopefully you've already worked it through and paused when I said to pause because I'm getting ready to write the answer. So here's your last chance before I write down the answer and it spoils it. All right, cool. All right, here we go. The opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. Bring down your bar, equal sign. 10 minus 10 cancel out. Equal sign brought down, 17 minus 10 is 7. 4a divided by 3 on the board. Bring it down to clean it up just a little bit. Opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. Going to multiply both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3, cancel out to make 1. 1 times your 4a yields 4a. So put your 4a down here. Gonna lay out my bar here. Bring down the equal sign. 4a equals 7 times 3, which is 21. Now we just need to get a by itself. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. So we're going to divide by 4 here, divide by 4 here. 4 divided by 4, 1. Bring down your a, bring down the equal sign, and 21 divided by 4. You can't divide 21 by 4 evenly, so we're going to leave it just at that. And remember, if you want to be super clean, we're not going to leave it as 1a. We're actually going to do a equals 21 divided by 4. And you can leave it just like that because they can't be divided. And my friends, you have made it. That is it. 30 practice problems. You are a beast. Now, I promised you 20 extra problems here at the bottom along with their answers, but now that we're done with those 30, I'm tired. So, use your practice problems from your teacher for those extra practice works, and if you really want me to come up with another 20 problems, leave it in the comments or yell me down and I'll actually do it. But you're gonna stay with these 30 for now, okay? Because I ain't trying to go through all that right now. I'm tired, and I know your brain is too. Best of luck on your tests. Remember to rewind the video, rework through them if you need to. Remember, the number one thing with math is practice, and equally with number one is being nice to yourself. You can do this. Nobody yells at a toddler for falling down when they're trying to learn how to walk. And so it is with you in this math. Don't yell at yourself. Be nice to yourself. It's okay. Practice makes perfect. It really does. Okay. See you on the next chapter, and good luck on this test. Peace.